Ready? Yeah. You did the whole, this is WGBB? Well, we did everything. All right, that means we are live. And since we're live, I have to say hello and welcome to the Real Estate Plate. As always, I'm your host, Nick Sakalis, coming to you live from the WGBB studios here in America, New York. And hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. Hope you celebrated it with your moms. Had a nice Mother's Day. It was supposed to rain. It was supposed to pour. It was supposed to be horrible. But something happened from the skies above, and they made a really nice day at the end of the day for all the moms out there. I guarantee you that when it's Father's Day, we're going to have, thunderbolts and lightnings and hell on earth. It's funny you say that, Nick, but somebody was telling me this Father's Day is going to be hurricane. Oh yeah, there you go. There you go. Peak hurricanes because it's for the fathers. For the fathers. For the fathers. Plenty of flowers were bought, lots of candy, all kinds of stuff. I don't know if that's something that moms really want or not, or if it's just the fact that they want to have something given to them to be appreciated. You should definitely appreciate your moms every day of the year, yeah, right. Regardless of which one year, and not wait for our entrepreneurial spirit of monetizing a day like this. But hey, that's how it is. Whether it's Valentine's Day, whether it's Mother's Day, whether it's Father's Day, they're gonna find a way to monetize it one way or the other. And you know what? I tell this to people all the time. People tell me, I don't know, what should I get for my mom? Should I get flowers? Should I get a plant? Should I get this? Should I get that? Whatever the case. You really want to impress your mom? You really, really want to impress your mom? You go and buy them a house. Buy her a house. See how impressed she'll be when you buy her a house. I guarantee you they'll blow away everybody with the flowers and the candy and whatever, taking them out to dinner. My kid bought me a house. You're going to be the star amongst the senior housing communities. I can assure you that. But all joking aside, I hope everybody had a great day. I hope it was excellent. And on to the next day. But celebrate your moms every day going forward. But before we get started with the show, we got a couple of things I wanted to jump into this week. We definitely had some cool stuff I wanted to get into, but cool, different. I don't know if it's cool, but it's definitely different. It's definitely a different approach of where we're going to be taking. But I wanted to give everybody a reminder about next week. We have that great guest that I mentioned to you in passing last week, Ali Akinta, UFC fighter, real estate agent, overall really good dude, and it's going to be a fun interview. So you definitely want to be able to, you definitely want to take the efforts of actually joining us live during that show, because I have already started getting a lot of questions from message boards and from emails, and I'm going to do my best to ask them all during the interview. But don't forget, it's only going to be a 1-hour interview. So that being said, we're not going to have endless amount of time to be able to ask him everything, but I'm going to try to highlight the best possible questions that I have. And if you're live during that time, make sure that you actually join in and ask your questions on the comment boards, because if you do, I will definitely give you priority. I always give the people that are live priority over the people that send them during the off hours. So I appreciate everybody that listens live while you're here listening. Anybody that's on YouTube, feel free to put a little a little thumbs up on the channel. Feel free to subscribe if you haven't done so already. Share it with a friend, that kind of thing, because obviously the algorithm does like that and somehow appreciate when people do that, and they keep me relevant. I'll also make a point of bringing something else up. It's really interesting, a really, really interesting little thing that came up. I've had a few people mention to me that they have subscribed and they press that little ding ding ding, the little bell, that little bell that is supposed to notify you every time there's a new video that comes up. And many people that they send me screenshots that they show that they're subscribed, they show me that uh they press the little ding ding ding, the little bell. However, they're not getting the notifications. So apparently, the algorithm does not like to notify people about me for some reason or another. So if that's the case and you're not getting the notifications, it's not me blocking you. It's not anything like that. It's not Trevor hijacking the internet and telling people that they can't get notifications. It's just YouTube being YouTube and Google being Google and the algorithm being the algorithm and telling us all, to hell with you, Nick. We're not going to notify people about this. They got to find them on their own. So, you know what? It might be for the better that way. It might be just for the better because the people that are actually logging in, the people that are checking out the program, the show, they're here when it's live, they'll actually be the people that I can appreciate it the most and not the ones that are being forced to watch me spew out my nonsense every week. So hopefully that's the case. But this is something that has been a recurring thing over the past few weeks as far as the notification bells. And obviously, I got canceled at one point. I got canceled. People, they decided to not like what I have to say, but that's okay. The people are remaining there. They actually do like what I say. And the reason I know that there is some validity to what's happening is because I have a couple of programs that I'm using to stream right now, and I can monitor what the rates of people watching and that kind of thing are. I also could monitor for the view rates from Facebook and from Instagram and et cetera, et cetera. And they don't correlate with the YouTube channel for some reason. For some reason, I might be getting a couple hundred people that actually um, viewed on Facebook through the link on YouTube. However, however, they don't reflect onto YouTube. It's a weird thing. I don't know why this is happening, but I'm not going to try to make logic. I'm not going to pretend that I know everything that happens. So to be continued, algorithm wars continuing between me and Google. We'll see. You got the same problems, right? You got the same problems. Trevor does a great show. He plays a lot of great music. Sometimes he plays some gospel music too. Really nice stuff. Whether you're into it or not into it, you could appreciate the melody. You could appreciate the tunes they put there. Every so often he'll say something. Every so often he'll say something too. He's not quite as vocal as I am for some reason. Now, I don't know. We got to get Trevor out of his shell and get him to like really like show the world who the true Trevor is.
Well, you get that kind of skill, Nick. I know.
No, I don't have that skill. The difference is, I'll tell you what the difference is. I'm at the point in my life where, well, what am I going to put a filter on my mouth for? You know, obviously, I'm going to be discreet and I'm not going to hurt people's feelings and that kind of thing. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to blatantly do things to just for the shock value alone. But if I got something on my mind, I'm going to say it. I am going to say it. I'm not going to. I'm not going to hold back, and I'm not going to pretend that I'm going to do the whole PC kind of thing and that kind of thing, just to stay uncanceled or unmuted or whatever the case is. Hey, no, NYC guy, thanks for joining us. Um, but it's what's the point? What's the point? You're damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you don't say a thing, then you got nobody to blame but yourself for not saying anything about a problem that's occurring. And if you do say something and you get a backlash about it, then to hell with you. We don't agree with you. So
I think I like you better that way, Nick. That you're more forceful in what you're saying.
I'm not being forceful. I'm really not. I'm just saying what I'm saying. You know, that these are my opinions. This is what I choose to say and to share with the world. And whether they appreciate it or not, they have the right to actually click onto this channel, next channel. They could turn the dial for those people that still have dials on their radios, and switch it off of 1240 or 95.9, or they could keep it on there and be angry with me, because here's the funny thing is, the funny thing is, the people that I get the most negative or crazy feedback from are the ones that don't that listen all the time. Like, I get people that send me emails all the time about, like, oh, you shouldn't have said that, you should have did this, or I can't stand you, or whatever the case is. But yet every week they're listening, and they're sending me email. Speaking of email, the email here to get me to respond to you on is Real Estate Plate Radio. Again, Real Estate Plate Radio, one word, no dots, no hyphens, no whatever, at gmail.com. Real Estate Plate Radio at gmail.com. And the phone number here is 516-623-1240. Again, the number here is 516-623-1240. If you call in and you're not a nut and you're not here to cause trouble, Trevor will transfer you over to me, and I'll respond to whatever you have to say, and maybe I'll even put you on live. And we'll make sure that that's the case. I also have a StreamYard link in the live chat here on YouTube, in case you're bold enough to even show your face and to be heard, to be on the entire thing. I'll put you on as well. So you have options. You want to have your voice heard the same way I'm spewing out my knowledge over here. Here's your chance. Here's your chance. You agree or disagree? Want to jump on? You let me know. Let's see, what do we have here? Speaking of which, NYC guy, this channel has the best insights in real estate. I appreciate that, NYC guy, very much so. And you are beginning to become, I think, the most loyal listener here. You know, it's either between you and driver's seat. I'm not sure who's on here more often and putting out a lot of commentary and insight. But if you're not number one, you're number two. But you're always number one in my heart. So I appreciate you coming on every week and joining me and adding the comments. The comments help the algorithm, my friends. The comments help the algorithm. No thanks necessary, NYC guy. Really, really appreciative. So let's jump into a couple things. Well, the first thing, you saw the headline on the video for this week, for the stream for this week, and we're going to talk a little bit about interest rates. What's going on with the interest rates? I'm sure everybody's not thrilled with that, unless you're a banker. Unless you're a banker, you're collecting the interest rates, and you're collecting more interest on your on your investments, which is not a bad thing to do. If I was a banker, I'll be a lot happier to be collecting more interest on my loans that I'm putting out there. However, their margins are not as big as you might think, because they're all based off of, well, they might be based off the treasury. They might be based off of a couple of things. Everybody has a couple of different algorithms that they use of how to be able to equate what the loan interest rates are. I always thought it was off the 10-year treasury. I got corrected a couple of times where it's not based on that alone. There's other factors in place. So I'll give it to there might be other factors in place. I'm not going to pretend that I am the mortgage guru. I just know what I hear on the daily reports of what the interest rates are, and I just try to relay that to you. And speaking of the rates, everybody see when they hit 6? Everybody see that it hit 6? Oh my God, the sky is falling. Everybody's thinking that hell on earth is coming in, and we are going to have a problem because of these interest rates flying up. We went from basically 2.5%, 3% to 5% in a blink of an eye. Then we had another jump in there, another jump to 6%, and it's getting a little nuts. It's getting a little nuts, and I don't know why this is happening. Well, I do know why it's happening, and I'm going to share my insights of how this is going to go too. I think they're trying to do a reverse type of method on us right now. In the past, whenever we had, in the past, whenever we had issues of interest rates, rate hikes, and recovery from recession type of scenarios or depression type of scenarios, and quantitative easing and that kind of thing, they went very moderate, very moderate. They went in little baby steps, baby steps. Because think of it like this. Think about it from this aspect. When we were in 2008, 2009, the rates were roughly around 5.5 to 6%. Let's say at that point. That's that's before the meltdown happened. Okay, the meltdown hit. We jumped down to like around four-ish, some a little lower, some a little higher. Let's just say four-ish, right? Which were historical lows. We never see interest rates of that magnitude. We didn't. We never seen them drop that low. But when they did drop that low, they did not rush to make them jump back up. They did. They were very, very cautious about jumping up the interest rates and putting them out in a way where it was going to terrify the markets. But here's the difference. Here's the difference. During that process, the government was not printing money to be bailing out not only corporations and major industries and that kind of thing, which they did do to some extent at that point, like all the crap money they sent over to Detroit to keep our automotive businesses going, and a lot of good that did. By the way, I'm not even going to get into that. I don't want to get into politics and get into that whole scenario. But the point that I'm trying to make is they weren't giving individual bailouts the way they were during this pandemic time, where they were giving unemployment checks double and triple the amount of what the normal rates would be. They were not giving out all these stimulus checks to keep the economy going. So they were printing out money over these past couple of years and giving it out hand over fist to your average person. And some people that, in my opinion, in my personal opinion, that should not have been getting any kind of money. Well, you're always going to have people that are going to be playing the system, and that's a given. Whether it's a good time, bad time, you're always going to have people playing the system. If they get caught, throw the book at them, whatever the case is. But they were actually legally giving out money to people that were actually not citizens, which bugs me. It bugs me. I don't know. Am I does that bug only me? Am I that unique in this world where that bugs me? That I work here, I break my butt, I try to do everything I can to put food on my family's table and pay my taxes, which I don't like to pay. I don't think anybody likes to pay their taxes, but I pay my taxes whether I like it or not because when my checks come in, this is what happens. Like a big invisible hand comes in and takes a chunk out of here. This is for the Fed, and then you got another big chunk, another big invisible hand from the state. The state, I'm going to take that too, and then you have, if you live in the city, oh, you got double-handed. Take some more money out of there. And we're paying taxes here, taxes there, sales tax. We're paying corporate tax. We're paying taxes. We're paying taxes. We're paying our insurance through the nose. And then you have people, and again, I have no problem with people coming here through the process. They come in through immigration, they get the green card, they get the citizenship, and they get qualified. They have the same rights and same financial rights that everybody else does because now they're citizens. But when you're not a citizen and you're getting all this extra leverage, just like what happened, during the eviction moratorium that really bugged the hell out of me, because not only people that were citizens were being protected in their places, people that were not citizens that were there illegal, that were actually squatting illegally into units were being protected, and that drives me nuts. That drives me absolutely bonkers. Am I being elitist about it? Am I being out of my mind about it? Is it a cultural thing? Is it a generation thing? Is it, I don't know what kind of thing it is. but it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. Yes, let's live in the utopian world of kumbaya, everybody. Let's love each other and help each other. But why is the person that working their butt off, and I'm trying to use the word butt because I can use other words too. I'm trying to FCC, if you're listening, I'm not gonna give you fine money. Yeah, I'm being very, very careful. But in this utopian world where we all have to love each other, the people that are busting their butts and working crazy shifts and working 80-hour, 100-hour weeks just to put food on the table are supporting the people that don't even have documentation to be here. It's like almost you take it's almost like you take a leech. You know what a leech is? Those little creatures, the little flat creatures, they go on you and they just suck your blood. They just suck you dry. And then, if you have enough leeches on you, for an extended period of time, you know what happens to you? You die. You get sick, you get ill, and you die. And this is what this system is doing to the healthy, vibrant working community, the working people in this country, in this city, in this state. It's making us die little by little because you know what? We're weakened. We're weakened. We're working our butts off. Not the other words. We're working our butts off. We're working our butts off to the point where we're tired. We're fatigued. And then we have like what's the purpose? You see, everybody's getting handouts left and right. Handout for you. Have some money, you have some money, you have some money. Everybody has some money. And then what happens? What happens then? What happens then? They're gonna increase your taxes. Don't mark my words. They might not increase the percentage of what tax they're gonna find another thing that they're gonna call something else. So I don't know what the word is gonna be, but it's gonna be a tax. It's gonna be some form of taxation. I could promise that, and they're gonna get you. They're gonna get you, and they're gonna say, you know what? You better pay it, or Uncle Sam is gonna kick down your. They're gonna kick down your Uncle Sam with that ugly beard and that big flag hat that he wears. He's gonna come in. He's gonna kick down the door, and he's gonna say to you. You better give me my money. You don't want to give me my money? I'm taking everything you got. Oh, you live in the house? I don't care if it's your moratoriums. I don't care about anything. I'm taking it. Why? Because you owe Uncle Sam the money. That's how it's gonna happen. Anyway, I got sidetracked a little. Just sidetracked. I can tell you you're chomping at the bit a little bit, Trevor. Did I hit a raw spot on you by what I'm saying?
No. I agree with you. I'm always thinking about it myself. And there's people that have a job, but they don't make enough money, so the government don't take the money out of their taxes. So they just get all their money. But when it's time to file their taxes, they got to pay taxes. They don't make enough for them to take it out of them. So that's another thing, It's crazy.
You know, you work.
Oh yeah,
You work.
I pay my taxes.
I guarantee you, Jeff, that's cutting the checks over here, is not paying you off the books to be in the
No,
radio station. I could guarantee that. And if he does a little bit, so be it. But I could guarantee that majority of the money that's being spent in your lifetime is on the books. And every time, I bet you see that invisible hand.
oh yeah.
You open up your envelope, you're like, ooh, let's open up this envelope. I got my check, my weekly check, or my bi-weekly check. I don't know how you get paid. I don't ask. I don't care. It's your problem. We every week, 2 weeks, or whatever the case, every month, you open it up, and then you're like, oh, let me check. Hey, you know what you're supposed to be making, and then you say, hey, this is a lot less than I thought I was gonna be making. And then there's gonna be a stub that's right in that. Sometimes it's attached to it. Sometimes it's not. Some business owners, they don't give you this stuff, but they're supposed to. And then you look at this stuff. Oh, this for this tax. This for state tax. This for federal tax. This for MTA tax. This is for You better shut up and breathe tax. Everything, everything. And then you're like, oh my God, I can't believe what's left on my check. What am I going to do with this check? And then all of a sudden, as you're about to take it, I said, all right, whatever. I'm beaten down. I need to deposit so I can pay my bills and pay my mortgage or my rent or whatever the case. Okay? As you're pulling it out of the envelope, you know what happens? That big invisible hand I was talking about earlier comes out and says, oh, wait, we got to take more. And they chop you up. They chop you up and they take out more. That's the way the system works. That's the way it's unless let's say this was a different time, a different world, a different whatever. Let's say I was an immigrant, an illegal immigrant. Like, there's a difference. There's a difference. But let's say I escaped my country. My roots are Greece. Everybody knows that my background, my culture, my origination is from Greece. Let's say I jumped on a little rubber raft and sailed down the Mediterranean and went all the way through the Atlantic Ocean. That'd be quite a feet. I'll tell you that much. If I was able to pull off on a rubber raft going from the Mediterranean all the way to the Atlantic and get to New York, I found my way in New York, and I got here illegally. Yes, that's quite a story. And if I was a really innovative person, I'd write a story about it and try to sell the rights about my journey from on a rubber raft from the Mediterranean all the way to the Atlantic into New York. That's a story in itself. That's being innovative. But that being said, I'm here. I'm like scrambling. I'm here illegally. What am I gonna do? I'm trying to make money here. I'm gonna make money there. I'm working off the books. I'm illegal. I'm making money without paying my taxes and trying to struggle. And then on top of it, I'm going to the government. Well, yeah, I came here illegally. I know I wasn't supposed to do that. But you know what? Give me money. Give me money. Why not? Give me money. Why? Because. Because I came here illegally and I have the right to do so. What? Like, am I like in like a Twilight? Is this like a George Orwell movie or like a Alfred Hitchcock kind of scenario? Twilight Zone film? What is going on over here? What is going on over here? It's like a murderer killing somebody and telling them, you know what? Yeah, I know I killed him. I know I killed him. But you know what? I've learned from my lesson. Let me out. Why not? Which don't even get me started on like my thoughts. Uh, I don't even get me started on my thoughts as far as uh, criminal laws here. Like I could honestly I could do a whole radio show and stuff like that on my thoughts. Like I guess, do you like it when criminals are let go after one day? Only in New York. Only in New York. I just murdered my neighbor. Oh, that's bad. Very bad. We're locking you up for the night. Oh, you go and wait for your trial. What? How many criminals do you know that are real criminals that are going to sit there and wait around for their trial to happen?
I don't think it's certainly not gonna do
And
that.
how often will you see somebody get murdered by that same individual as they're waiting for their trial? You hear it in the news all the time.
It's almost the same person that get his driver's license suspended 400 times until they able to drive.
Speaking of driver's license,
Mm-hmm.
if you're here illegally, have a driver's license too. How does that make sense?
Get an ID.
How does that make sense? And you know what? If you buy it straight out and you don't register it, or if you do register, whatever the case, and you don't have insurance, who cares? I'm illegal. What are you going to take from me? What are you going to take from me? It drives me nuts. It's driving. I don't know. There's something in me that really gets triggered. It makes me really, really go off on stuff like this. It really gets me nuts. Same way Yeah, interest rates are rising. We're at 6% right now. We're at 6%. Okay. Is it 4%? Is it 3% where we were before? No, it's not. But it's not the end of the world. 6% is actually reasonable on a loan for a home. It is. Because I'm not gonna go by and sit by the words of Bill Clinton that would say every person has a right to own a home. No, you don't have a right to own. You have to work your way to own a home. Just like anything else. It's like me telling you I have the right to wear this shirt. What kind of shirt is this? I don't even know what kind of shirt this is. But it's not a $10 shirt. This is probably like I don't know, $100 shirt. Okay? So I don't have the right to own $100 shirt, right? I don't even have the right to own a shirt. It's on me to go buy a shirt. And if I'm so destitute and I can't afford it, and I go to the homeless shelter and they give me a shirt, I should be happy with what I have. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. Things get a little nuts. I don't know. I get triggered with stuff like this. I really do. I really do. I agree with what you're saying. I don't know what you're agreeing with, the NYC guy, but I'm sure there's something I said just now that somebody agrees with, including yourself. Are you okay? Are you okay with you? That's from Swan Hong. I do not know what the hell that means, but I am always okay with me. Okay, oops, I meant saying, are you okay with U.S. citizens living abroad getting stimulus checks? Ooh, that's a good question. That's a really, really good question. That's a that's an awesome question. I'll tell you why that's an awesome question. Because theoretically, just because that person's living abroad doesn't mean that they lose their citizen rights. They don't, and they're still paying taxes. That's up for debate. I don't know. That's for somebody smarter than me to try to figure out if that makes sense or not. Because think of it like this: if you're military, you're working and you're living abroad. So, first of all, the people with stimulus checks are the people that have some economic issue that they couldn't get stimulus. They had to get a stimulus credit check. So, somebody that's living abroad, let's say they're retired, living abroad, they're working off Social Security, and they're not making enough money to survive. I guess the answer would be maybe. I'd have to like really, really dive into that a little bit more and think about it more if that's really something that's a viable or not viable thing to do. Because I'm sure there's multiple situations where people don't necessarily they shouldn't get it, and then other people that should get it. I don't know. That's something I never even thought of. That's a great question. Great question. You stumped me. You stumped me for the first time. I think this might be a first time on the show where somebody asked me a question where I really don't know how to answer. I don't know how to answer if that's an appropriate thing or not appropriate thing to do for people living abroad if they should be still collecting stimulus checks. I mean, they are citizens; they're within their rights. If you're giving it to people that don't belong here, I guess why not give it to them? And I guess if they're living abroad, they're not draining society of anything here. They're draining society of wherever they're living. So maybe I don't know. What do you think, Trevor?
I know it's a good question. It all depends on if they just visiting over there, or if they move the resident,
Yeah,
and they're
that's
paying
why I'm
taxes
saying that.
over there, and they're paying taxes where they are, they should be getting money over here.
Yeah, there's so many different
Right,
factors.
right, right.
Like let's say somebody was away on vacation during the pandemic, and they got stuck, and they couldn't travel back. They should get a stimulus check, I guess, because who knows what the hell they're spending being stuck in that other country until they're allowed to move back. I don't know. It's a good question. It's a great question. I don't know. I like that question. Keep them coming. I appreciate that. The questions like that, and I'm gonna look into it and think about it a little deeper to be able to reference that to another show and another day. Definitely gonna do that. All right. I'm glad you agree with everything, NYC guy. So going back to the 6%, is it the end of the earth? Is the sky falling being at these rates? No, absolutely not. And the thing that people are still not considering, which is a really this is really weird that's going on right now. It really is. Um, Even though the interest rates have been climbing steadily. I mean, we got another big jump, like I said last week. The inventory hasn't risen yet. It's still subdued. Buyers are still buying. There's still rabid need for homes. Where is this going? I don't know. I don't know quite yet. But it's definitely going to be something to keep looking forward. I'm not going to predict it. I pulled up the crystal ball last week and I made a couple predictions. But I'm going to be quite honest with you. The way this is going, everybody's predictions are going to go out the window. Because as I said, yeah, did I expect to have dramatic increases in interest rates? Yeah, absolutely expected. I think anybody that knows the business or understands this field and industry, they'll realize that the interest rate were going to go up. I just believe that we were going to see the increase towards the end of this year, going into the beginning of 2023. I did not expect to have this much activity and this much of a hike happening in the first half of the year. We're not even there yet. We just started the fifth month. We just started the fifth month. Speaking of the fifth month, I hope everybody has a happy Cinco de Mayo on May 5th. I never brought that up. That's a big day. People celebrate that day. They love that day. Anyway, off topic. But that being said, that being said, I didn't expect this. I didn't expect to be here at this point in time. I didn't expect to be hovering around 6% on May 5th. I was even questioning if we were going to actually hit 6% by the end of the year. I knew we were going to get up to 5-ish. I knew that was going to happen. But 6%, wow, wow. And I want to, any analyst that's out there that predicted this was going to happen, I'm gonna key you all in on this. It was a leap of faith. It was a dumb guess, or actually good guess, and they're looking like super geniuses right now. I can also tell you this: if I make 100 guesses, educated guesses, today, this moment, I can assure you that 50 to 60% of those guesses are going to either come true or they're going to have some level of accuracy towards when the prediction date comes out. Why? Because it's not hard to figure out things. But anybody that's told you we're going to be in May and we're going to be looking at 6-ish type of rates, I think they were talking out of two sides of their mouth at that point. I really do believe that that's the case because there was no way anybody could have predicted that. Hey Kelly, thank you for joining us. No, only U.S. citizens deserve stimulus checks living in the U.S. because the stimulus was meant to stimulate our economy, not foreign economies. There you go. Well, the question I don't know if you jumped in while I was answering a question that was brought up by Swan On. The question was if people that are living abroad that are actually U.S. citizens should be also getting those stimulus checks. And again, it's not an answer I could tell you without thinking it through correctly and actually looking at a little bit of the data of how that works. But you know, I'm with you on people in this country. Only ones that actually have true U.S. citizenships should be getting those stimulus checks. Hey, I'll even take it this far. I'll even take it this far. Maybe even people that are here with green cards might be able to get something. Why not? They're in the process of getting their citizenship. They're here. They're already doing the right thing. More than likely, people on the green card are already paying taxes, right? Is that how it works? People with green cards, they're paying taxes at that point, right?
Yeah,
They're supposed to.
they consider permanent resident.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, so I'll even push it to, even if you don't have a true U.S. citizenship, you don't have all the legal rights. If you're at least here legally and you have a green card, you're working yourself towards getting that citizenship. Hey, I'll even take that. I'm trying to be reasonable. I'm trying to be reasonable and understanding how people. I think that's the right thing to do for people that are living in this country. But if you're here and you literally just what? Let's look at it like this, okay? Let's look at it like this. We all know what's going on with Ukraine right now. We all know what's going on with Ukraine, Russia, and it's a really unfortunate type of situation. Okay, what if a big herd of criminals, a real bad people, escape from Russia or Ukraine during this time period and flood this country at at any given time? It sounds crazy, right? It sounds crazy. But let's say that does happen. Should they all have same rights as everybody here in this country? Oh, you say, Nick, that's extreme. That would never happen. Yeah, it did happen multiple times already in our history. Ask the Cuban community. Who were the first people that Castro unleashed on this country? He purposely made a point of releasing all the criminals to flood this country before all the other residents found a way to escape and come here as refugees. Sounds crazy, but you know what? Sometimes truth is stranger than fiction. Sometimes reality is stranger than fiction. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. These are just thoughts. These are just thoughts that are coming out, and whatever the case is, you know, YouTube wants to cancel me for my thoughts. That's okay. Facebook doesn't like me. Zuckerberg doesn't like me. Whatever the case is, I'm gonna say what I want to say, and that's it. That's it. So take it back to real estate. Let's take it back to real estate because we're going off a real tangent right now. We're going into real different and dark places. And this is not the dark web. This is the regular web. So we're talking about. So just to wrap up my thoughts on the interest rates, unless we see the supply start to surge over the next few weeks, I can't see a demand slowdown happening. The demand is going to still be there, and the prices are going to stabilize because of that. Unless we see a huge pullback of people wanting to purchase homes, which is not happening at the given moment. Yes, in certain markets, yes. In certain sectors, yes. In certain price points, yes. Absolutely. Absolutely, that's happening. But non-residents with social security numbers, how did this turn into an immigration show? How did this come into non-residents with social security numbers and pay taxes are 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 the only ones that get the stimulus checks? Are you sure about that? How could somebody be a non-resident with a social security number? How do they obtain that social security if they're non-residents? Interesting. Are they taking the social security numbers from other people? I don't know. Very, very interesting comment. How is the water sharing systems to solve the toxic water issue in Long Island going to affect taxes? They claim that this will lower our bills, which I will find hard to believe. I find it hard to believe anything. I find it hard to believe anything will lower our taxes. And if for some reason there is a reduction, I'm going to put that up, let me put this down. Reduction, I'm going to put this up in air quotes. Reduction in taxes in any way, they'll find a way to recover it in another fashion. It typically happens that way. But if it actually, here's a tax that I could get behind. Okay, if but let's take away all the other waste that we're spending on taxes and property taxes and that kind of thing. But let's just say if there was in a perfect world all the taxes and all the money and the revenue that's being collected by the governments and our municipalities is legitimately going to the right places it's supposed to go and actually doing good and actually fixing things and repairing things and maintaining things. Let's say that's the perfect world, and the taxes had to increase just for to make sure that we clean, purify our water systems. I'm good with that. I have no issue with that. Whatever, even if it was a big hike because it might be a costly kind of situation, I could get behind that. But it can't be an indefinite thing. It can't be a forever tax because you're done with that. Once it's paid, once it's covered, why you continue to collect on it? Because that's another thing. Another thing that bothers me tremendously. I see this all the time. You see scenarios where we get a new tax, a bump up for one reason or another, some a temporary increase on our taxation. That for some reason, once the item that was meant to cover is solved or taken care of, or whatever way you want to put it, it seems to never go away. The tax stays there, or evolves, or morphs into something else. Well, now we're going to cover this with this taxation, whatever the case. One thing I know is the government does not like to give up their money. Uncle Sam, he wants his money, one way or the other. So it's an oddball situation. Oddball situation. All right. So what do we got here? We got one more comment. The non-U.S. citizens, I meant, for example, green card would qualify if they pay taxes. Sorry for the confusion. That I'm okay with. That I'm okay with. I just said that with green cards and stuff like that. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I'm 100% okay with that. But are you okay with illegal immigrant squatters going into apartments that they don't belong in and being covered through eviction moratoriums and that kind of thing? Are you okay with that? I'm not. It's one thing if somebody made a lease with an illegal on their own discretion, because here's the thing: illegal immigrants, whether they have they don't have to have a green card, they don't have to have papers, they don't have to have anything. They are fully covered by our rental protection acts. Oh, a lot of people didn't know that. Well, go back to 2019 and read the, the updates and the changes to our housing guidelines, and you will find out that. And if you'd like me to dissect that entire bill when it was placed, and I did do that back in 2019, I can do that once more. And I swear I will go by one line, and I will tell you exactly what it's saying, and you can use your own discretion if it makes sense or not, and if our taxpayers should be covering certain things like that. Just what I'm just saying. Just saying. So before we get to the air, I got into a rant and I got into a whole tirade about a whole bunch of things, and I don't want to miss out on something else. So I just recently got a Oyster Bay Town Courier. You can see that. And you can see zombie home demolished. Okay, so the reason I want to bring this to everybody's attention is because I get this question all the time. What the hell is a zombie home? What exactly is a zombie home? What does that mean? What is the point of it? And I'm going to just tell you something. I'm going to read this article really quickly because it's a short one and it's okay to read. Um, okay, so chairperson of the town of Oyster Bay's Quality of Life Task Force announces that the continued demolition of dilapidated zombie homes in recent years, more than 2 dozen zombie homes have been torn down, with most recent demolition taking place in South Farmingdale community. We are taking our neighborhoods back. block by block, removing eyesores and improving the quality of life. Too often, absentee landlords and lending institutions leave vacant homes behind with no plans to maintain the property. Upon finding the deplorable conditions, we enter the court seeking approval to tear down these eyesores while paving the way for new homes and new families, said Councilman Imbroto. Okay, okay. I think it's very self-explanatory what their agenda is to get rid of these ugly, destroyed properties. Some of them that may be condemned or should be condemned. I'm with that. I'm with that 100%. That's not a problem. That is not a problem whatsoever. I don't have a problem. What I do have a problem with is them taking taxpayer dollars to go and demolish these places. Because I can assure you that they don't even have to go to that expense. If you take these properties and put them out in the public and you liquidate them, there's going to be plenty of private investors that are willing to take them as is, knock them down, build them on their dime, and not spend extra taxpayer dollars for them. You want to put that to the test? Town of Oyster Bay. How about you give me 100 pieces of your property inventory right now, and I will put them on the market, and I will have them liquidated by a week's time. All. Bold words, 100 units. Yeah, I could assure you I could get 100 units wiped out, sold in a matter of a week. They're not going to be closed in a week because it's New York and you have to pass through title and you have to go through the process. You get lawyers. You got lawyers. But at least in principle, in term, we'll have agreements that they're sold. That's not Corona, by the way. I'm getting congested right now. I don't know what it is. Maybe my allergies, whatever the case is. That being said, they could get them liquidated in a week without having to spend extra taxpayer dollars. Why don't they do that? Why don't they make these properties more publicly available and easy and not have to make them a secret for people that are trying to find them? Because, yeah, there are auctions that happen all the time. There are the court sites, there are the auctions that happen through the mortgages, and sometimes you have tax lien auctions that happen as well. And I've been to plenty of them. Tax lien auctions, by the way, are very few times you find any quality, decent parcels of land. You find usually in my personal experience, I've gone to plenty of these, are the oddball lots, the ones that nobody wants, the ones that are like little crappy triangle-shaped properties that are little slivers stuck between two other properties, little 10 by 100 lots. Who's going to buy a 10 by 100 lot sideways? That's sandwiched in between two other lots. Stuff like that. You see that happen all the time on those type of properties. And for some reason, the ones that are really, really good, the ones that should be grabbed onto, they never appeared. They never go. Magically, somebody comes in. I'm developing everything. Who did he know? Who did she know that got their way to get those magical properties? I don't know. But somebody did. Somebody guided them to get those properties. So I got an issue with the way they're approaching it. The mindset, the whole concept of actually trying to have these homes rehabilitated or redeveloped. I'm all for it. You want to increase the value of the neighborhood. You want to create better community feel and everything like that. Absolutely. Well, the spending taxpayer dollars to actually demolish these things and actually get them sold is unnecessary. And I don't know who the vendors that they're choosing are. They all go up for bid to do these demolition projects. Unnecessary, completely unnecessary. They could take the same kind of thought and concept that they had during the Sandy auctions. I don't know if everyone remembers the New York Rising auctions that happened when all the properties that were demolished during the Sandy, Super Hurricane Sandy time period, um, were absorbed by the state and then resold to the public with a mandate that they had to be rebuilt up to code within a 3 year period. Otherwise, they would have been pulled back again. Something like that, I'm for. Something along those lines would be a really good solution. But let's see where this goes. So I'm gonna just give everybody what a zombie home really means because that's I started off and I didn't actually give everybody the definition of what that means. A zombie home, in definition, typically means a home that's been abandoned either by the homeowner or they have already been foreclosed on by banks or lenders that have left them basically dilapidated. They have not done anything to take care of them in any way whatsoever, and they've been sitting there and getting having deterioration take off them, causing sometimes vermin issues. Sometimes you get vagrants that come into the area that live in them, squat in them, that kind of thing. Animals, they become animal sanctuaries, and sometimes because know they're not hospitable type of environments for human beings, and you see every critter and animal under the moon that go and find them to make them their home, and they're not a really good situation to have in any neighborhood. But besides that, there's entire blocks and radiuses in certain sectors that are all fully zombie homes. And it's not only by lenders and owners; it could be a couple of other situations as well, where you have them set out. They could actually be taken over by the state, and the state's negligent to take care of them, or the city, or municipalities. Doesn't necessarily mean the bank is owning it. There's a lot of different ways and ownership of these type of properties. So just letting everybody know that the situation, that kind of thing. Um, not it's not necessarily the glamorous part of real estate. There's other, but it's a very real factor, a real part of investment. Actually, for investors, they have the opportunity to buy some of these dilapidated homes for fractional margins of what the value is, in order to bring them up to a very good living standard, or rebuild them to modern standards, and put out a good quality home for new homeowners to buy. That's a very very good form of business, as long as they're being sold at a rate that allows for those margins to be made. If you really really want to have a revival of the community, give these investors and these buyers the opportunity to put out a good quality product. And if you want to make sure that there's no gouging and there's no realistic surges on the price of these type of properties, then put restrictions on the resale of them towards the buyers, that they can't make X amount of profit past what they spend on it, and that way you keep it capped off. And that's a solution. That's a solution. For the people that always ask me for solutions, there you go. There's your solution. But that being said, it's 7 o'clock. Trevor is going to kick me off. The guy is about to call up the phone and say, "Get this guy off the thing. He's taking up my airtime." Um, I'm going to be again next week. As I mentioned to you before, we got a great guest, Ali Quinta. I'll be putting it all over social media. You got to be here for next week. It's going to be really good. He's going to be in studio, ask questions live, that kind of thing. Great interview. Looking forward to it. I'm sure a lot of people are looking forward. I'm already getting a lot of messaging on it. But until then, until next Monday, 6 to 7 on the Real Estate Plate, the way we always meet. Have a great evening. Have a great week. Make lots of money in real estate. And I'll be back with you again next week. Thank you for joining me.